big question among shooters is how many rounds should you have at home? How much ammo should you have at home? And kind of a cut and dried stock answer is 1,000 rounds for each of your guns. And this is coming from people that are thinking in terms of the zombie apocalypse. And they're thinking, you know, if you needed to survive, you should have 1,000 rounds for each of your guns as a minimum. Some people say stack it deep and high. But is that realistic? The question is, how much do you practice? And what are your needs? I know deer hunters that go out and get their deer every year, and a 20-round box of ammo lasts them 15 or 20 years. So how much ammo do they really need? But then I know people that are competition shooters and they fire 50,000 rounds in a year. How much does that person need? So you need to look at your needs and kind of extrapolate from that. I practice weekly and I shoot 200 or 300 times, I fire 200 or 300 rounds per week. So you're looking at maybe a case a month is about average for me. So having 1,000 rounds for me, that's a month's worth of shooting. That's not much. So, all right, if I have a steady supply and I can just go to the store and buy, a 500 round pack every time I go to Walmart, that's fine. But is that always assured? And the answer is no. We've seen this twice in the last 8 years, where after the elections there was really horrendous ammo shortages, where you just couldn't get ammo at all at any price, and then when you could, the prices were ridiculous. And to this day, 8 years later, you still can't find 22. It's really difficult and it's really expensive. So think about how much you need for practice, how much you need for self-defense in whatever bad situation you can think of, and how long do you think your supply needs to last? Do you need to last for a couple of months? Do you need to last for a year? Do you need to last for the rest of your life? As an example, when I saw Romney get the presidential nomination, the Republican nomination on the last go-around, I knew that we're going to have another term of Obama, and I knew there was going to be a second run on ammo. And as soon as he got the nod, I went out and purchased as much 22 as I could at that time, which was 8,000 rounds. I had a Smith & Wesson M&P 22 and a 22 conversion kit for my AR, and I'm thinking, okay, I can't afford a bunch of 9mm and 223. I'll do a lot of training with 22. And those 8,000 rounds got me through about 3/4 of a year of training, and then I ran out. And I'm still never really recovered in 22. So most of my training in the last year or two has been 9mm because I can find it, even though it's more expensive than I necessarily would like to spend. But my point is, I saw it coming, and I still only had 3/4 of a year's worth of ammo given my normal allotment. So think about that. I can't tell you how much you're going to need. You have to figure that out for yourself. But realize your normal supply may not always be there. And how long do you want your supply to last? And, a good friend of mine, he gave me the last 22 I got, and he was told a number of years ago by a friend of his, every time you go into the store, into Walmart, buy a brick of 22. And he did that. He has like 500,000 rounds of 22 ammo. He just bought slow and steady. Every month or every couple of weeks, he went into Walmart. Even though he didn't need it, he bought a brick of 22. Now, maybe that'll come around again where ammo 22 is available and inexpensive. And even if it's not, even if you don't think you need it, if you can afford it, purchase that extra box. You'll always use it at some point, and if you don't, you can always sell it, and probably for more than what you paid for it. Look at it as a good investment. When you're considering, the banks are giving, 1% interest on your savings account, being able to pay, $12 for a box of 9mm and next year sell it for 20, that's a pretty good return on your investment. So I think at your bottom end, that 1,000 rounds per gun makes sense. But on the top end, you're looking at maybe several 100,000 rounds for the guns you use all the time, so that you can continue practicing in the manner to which you've become accustomed. This is another Tactical Tuesday tip of the week. I'm Peter Burlingame, the Self-Defense Initiative. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and tell your friends about us. Be safe out there.